All right. And then let me just take and just do a really loose circle. I probably made it worse. Oh well. Oh well, life goes on. And then what I actually can do from here is I can just cut it up in sections if I don't like it. But here's another idea you can do with this same little set. Right here, I created a border with this that turned out pretty cool. Another thing you can do is on the corner of something, you can do like a petal, a petal, a petal. And then that is what I did with the kooky little butterfly and then the diamonds down there. So this is a very whimsical, child-friendly page, don't you think? But anyway, this is just one way that you can use these petites. They're super cool. I promise that they're really cool. I probably, you know, I mean, I love the buildability and the wonderful opportunities to use these to create awesome art. All right, until next time, I'm Bets Golden. Happy crafting. So if you have a perfect center, you may want to leave it like that, but I always like to add just a little bit more detail. So I'm going to take this mermaid over pin and I am just going to start to outline these petals like so. And this just gives some definition and a little bit more, I don't know, just makes it cool. As you can tell, they don't all like line up or always make the most sense. All right, so there's that. And then I'm going to take and just, I really like I'm thinking the white right over pin. So for this, I'm just gonna start in the center and I'm just gonna swirl it out. And it just gives kind of a cool, you know, mixed media look to it all. And then if you want, you can go through and just add in like some fun dots along the borders of the leaves, like so, and some, you know, different colors. And I don't know, it just makes it fun and whimsical. Not too serious. I mean, I have seen, you know, I want to do all of them, some amazing art with these little petites. And I gotta tell you guys, I never feel like mine like entirely measure up, but that's okay. Art is subjective, and I still don't really consider myself an artist. So I don't know if you guys ever struggle with that as well, where you look at somebody's work and you'll be like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. I could never do that. I go through that a lot. But the creative process is so worth it to me that eventually I get over it. And like this piece that I'm doing right now, this is by far not my favorite piece that I've ever done. But I know that if I keep working at it and eventually I will create something from it that is really awesome, but it might not be, it might take me having to cut it out, you know, and use it in a journal or something along those lines for me to see the possibility of it. Also, you guys, if you're working on a piece and you spent a lot of time on it and you don't like it, walk away before you trash it. I have done that so many times where I have just gotten mad at a piece, mad at myself because it didn't end up as perfect as I wanted. And so I literally would set it aside at least overnight, sometimes weeks, sometimes, you know, even a month or two. And then I come back to it and it's like, oh, you know, I kind of like this now. And so I also am thinking now I want to go in with this pink on top of this white, like so. I just think that looks kind of cool. And then I always also like to go around the edges of everything with a black. And so this ballpoint pen, so I'm just going to go around the edges of my flower on this. And then I have another example that I'm going to show you too that I've already done. But right now you're just kind of watching me work through my disappointment and anger in myself for dropping the gel press, the little mini petite gel plate right there. I can't even talk. Oh, if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope that you consider doing so. This is my commercial, by the way. And then also consider hitting that bell for notifications of when I have a new video that comes out. And then if you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them down below. I'm pretty good at responding to those. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up too. And if you know anyone that needs a little bit of boost in confidence because they like to create art but they don't feel like it looks good, send them this. This should make them feel better. I always like to try to learn as I go, and hopefully you guys learn too. You know, it is what it is. Great concept for that. Okay, so once I went over and did the first layer, I just went through each of the individual petals and did a second layer just to really fill it out. And so from now, I want to go ahead and just do a little teeny tiny center, right? Because well, it needs a center. So what I'm going to do to make that center is I'm going to make sure that this is nice and dry first. I'm going to take this same thing right here, okay? And I'm just going to put just a dollop right in the center, just like that, okay? Now, I'm going to take and just smoosh it out. Like so. And now I have a center of my flower. And that's quite a bit of paint. So, you know, I can lay this a couple more times just to, ooh, oh, we're going to get a big center now. You guys, you know, we're just going to, this is what happens sometimes when you're being goofy and you get overly cocky. So there we go. Now this has moved into how you can fix your pieces when they go oops. So I'm just going to take this also and put some dots in there just because I like dots. All right, I'm going to let this dry and then I'm going to do the outlining of it. And I'll show you another way that you can use this same Gel Press Petite. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I am Bets Golden. Thank you so much for joining me today. I actually wanted to share with you these petite presses. They're by Gel Press. Basically what they are literally mini gel plates. They're so cute, but you use them like you do stamps. And they have a couple different sets out, and I think I have them all. So I was going to create something today with one of the sets, but these are just so fun. I really like them. And there's so much that you can do with them. So yes, they are a stamp, but there's so much more to them than just a stamp. Like, you can use these with ink or paint, and you can add texture on top of them and things like that. So I'm going to do a project today with these three right here: butterfly wing, a diamond, and then this shape, like this pointy oval, which is a leaf. They're calling it a leaf, and it is from this set right here. Let me see, what's the name of it? I'm not sure what the name of it is. It has to be right in front of my face, right? Anyway, we're going to use these. Now, you're going to notice something with the gel presses. You know, they only gave me one leaf, and you're like, but there's two sides to a leaf. There is. That's why you turn it over and use the other side. Something else is, if one side of your gel press, this goes for universal, gets damaged, it's okay. It's two-sided. Just flip it over and use the other side. So, you know, those are just some things that you can keep in mind when you're playing with gel presses. Never carve into them, use real sharp objects. But if you happen to cut one, you know, you can just flip it over and use the other side. On the leaf though, I mean, on the wing, you probably don't want that to happen, right? And then something else I'm gonna build on this page, but I wanted to show you. Do you see right there that shadow of a square? That is actually from my last gel press. I laid it down. It was a 5x7 plate, and I laid it on this. That is really normal to see that kind of like an oil residue, because a gel press is made with, it's oil based. It's like, I think there's like mineral oil in it and whatnot. So, I mean, technically, I guess you could, I don't want to say that you could, I would not encourage you to digest it. Okay. I wouldn't say do that. But, you know, it hasn't been made with like animal byproducts or anything like that. But it will leave this oil residue, which is important for you to know, because you do not want to lay it on wood or on silicone craft mats. The only mat that I like to lay it on is my glass mat. And so that's why it's hard sometimes for me to film, because I have a glare because it's glass. So I will oftentimes put a white piece of paper under it. You also don't really want to store your gel press with paper on it, because it can suck out all of the oil eventually, I would think. So it's better if you just leave it in its original packaging, discarding those sheets that come with it. That has nothing to do with what we're going to do today, but I thought since it was on my mind, and you may not know that, you may find it helpful. So I hope you stuck with me. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do with these, and I'm just going to use this as an example here. I am going to build a flower. So I'm just going to take my lemon and squirt some out on this, and we're just going to build a flower on it. So always pull your brayer in the same direction, making sure that you're lifting up. If you want to add some texture, you totally can. And then I'm just going to stamp it down here, and we're going to go completely around to create some petals. And it looks like I probably have enough on my brayer to do another one. And as you can tell, it picked up some of that beautiful paint that was left over on my bubble wrap. And you're just going to connect it to the center, like so. Put a little bit more down. And then again, pull that brayer in the same direction. And the reason why this is so cool is not only do you get a ton of texture, you can use a couple different types of medium on this, you also are able to, you'll never get the same print twice, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. I love that. It'll always be a different print. Nothing will look the same. And I'm just using regular copy paper on this. I love regular copy paper on this just because I get really, once the acrylic dries, because I do predominantly acrylic on mine, it thickens up and it has a really nice texture to it that makes it able to collage nicely, and it holds up but not like too much, if that makes any sense. All right, that one got a little bit off, but you know, that's what happens. It's okay. We'll just keep going. All right,